Well, this is Simpson Drive or Simpson Street, and my grandparents were both shop steward workers and tailors here. My father's side got decanted out of um, out of Clydebank during the Blitz when the Nazis were blowing up all of the factories and all the shipyards, and they get decanted out to Hamilton. And my mother's side came from Govan, and they get decanted out here. And both my grandparents were textile workers. Now, Dak Simpson's, like Marks and Spencer's, Dak Simpson's produced clothes and suits for Marks and Spencer's. As we saw in Hamilton, Marks and Spencer's is no longer here, and neither is Dak Simpson. This is where the Dak Simpson's building was, and it's now no longer a thing. We're not producing any suits here. Both my grandparents were trade unionists and shop steward workers, and my great grandfather was a plater and a trade unionist and a gang leader on the same boatyard that Billy Connolly was on. But obviously, I would suspect that my grandfather was older than Billy Connolly. But Billy Connolly recants all the fun and the laughs that he used to have on the shipyards. So, like many people here in Stonehouse, they would have worked as tailors for Dak Simpson's. Who, as I said, were the suppliers, one of the suppliers to Marks and Spencer's, and obviously a lot of the tailor stuff get decanted out to the Far East, who are now producing much of the clothing that we're wearing today. So what's this got to do with the price of cheese, Dave? Well, this is, again, I said to you earlier on, this is very much a working class, nice area. Celtic have just lost. I was down in Stonehouse. Celtic have just lost to Aberdeen. Now I'll go down and we'll go through Larkhall in a minute. But Larkhall is renowned for being very loyalist, shall we say, and a very much a working class community. Great salt of the earth people. Really have done tremendous work over many years, developing a lot of things. And there's obviously changes like this, where the factory would have been and is now houses, just like in Stonehouse. Stonehouse, there's no longer the hospital. The hospital's miniaturised. The actual school is increased. And I was speaking to one of the constituents down in Stonehouse, and they were saying there's a definite lack of amenities down there. Even though Stonehouse is a wee village, it's expanded greatly over my lifetime, and they don't seem to have had any ability to put more amenities in the village. Larkhall's slightly bigger, and again, Hamilton's even bigger than that, but there doesn't seem to be very much joined up thinking of where things go and and how it interacts with individuals, and none of this has actually been discussed at a local level. So that this would be under South Lanarkshire Council. Things that are derelict have not been brought into economic use, have just lain derelict for years. And the interaction between houses and how it all interacts, the various types of housing stock, none of that's been really taken into consideration. But just now, the big thing will be that Aberdeen has beaten Celtic, which is a bit weird because the majority of the people here would have been Rangers supporters. It's not really my bag, but that is definitely a thing. How's that going to reflect on politics, and how's that going to reflect on are people going to stand by Sarwar trying to bring in Islamism, or is he going to are people going to shy away from that? He's wanting to impose Sharia law by the back door. His dad was trying to do that, trying to bribe off Labour Party members, Labour Party politicians. and that's the problem that they've got just now. Are they going to stay with Labour, or are they going to stay with SNP, who are not bringing forward one jot Scottish independence, which is their raison d'etre? The SNP are basically a wokey wefter green commie party now, and that's what you're voting for. So it's various degrees of leftism, whether it's the Labour Party or the Liberals or the Greens. It's various different shades of leftism. None of them are talking about entrepreneurship, how to increase utilities, facilities, how to increase growth. None of them are talking about, because they don't care about that, because that's not in their raison d'etre. Their raison d'etre is for social justice, which is a communist term. Social justice is a communist term. It was that was founded under Marx. And yet we are not getting any further forward by voting from one left-wing party to another left-wing party, and nothing's changing. There has to be a change in policy for there to be a change in what we're actually doing. Now, maybe reform are not going to be that in Scotland. I have reservations about that, but there's certainly a change of direction. And we've already seen the young people, young fellas are already wanting that change. They're not really happy with the left-wing globalist order, the wokey wefter policies. They're not really wanting to bring in Islam and paedophilia and sex slaves and things like that go with Islam and Sarwar. So, and they're not and Sarwar's dad didn't want Islam to be criticised. Every religion, every cult should be being able to be critiqued and criticised, especially me being a libertarian liberal and an atheist as well. So these are things that should be a given in a free and democratic society, but unfortunately Islam and Sarwar are not free, liberals and democratic. These are Islamists, and that's what the problem is. They are not bringing in a new form of politics. But as we can see here, this factory's gone, things changed. The school I went to, it's gone, things change. But are the people who have got the intellect to do something different being put in power? Or are we just getting ideologues, whether it be far left, Islamists? Are we just getting ideologues who as politics have failed in so many other countries, and we're just going to try and reheat a pile of shit? So let's go down to Larkhall and see what's about, and see what we've got in Larkhall, and find out what the good people of Larkhall will be saying, whether or not they're going to stick with SNP, whether Labour are finished, and whether Reform are going to potentially take over. Hi guys, do you mind if I ask you a question? Just a quick question. I'm filming myself, so you're not on camera. Obviously, you know, and I'm sure you've been harassed before, the by-election's coming up. And I was just wondering, did you have any thoughts on what you might...
I would love to, but I don't live here, so...
Oh, do you know? Oh, no. No, that's great. Thanks, gents. Oh, well. I'm telling you, there is a big sea change. The fact of what happened at the last general election and what has happened at the council elections with Reform is showing that there is a sea change, and I think Labour are panicking. I think the like that today with the sort of far Islamist left is going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem for them because if they come in third just now, Labour could get 0 seats in Scotland at the next Westminster election and down to single-digit MSPs. This could be the biggest disaster in Labour since they were actually constituted. This is a massive bellwether in politics, and people don't realise, and maybe they don't come from Scotland. Scotland's quite a tight-knit society, although they might be maybe economically socialist. They might be culturally conservative, or they could be even a lot of liberals and libertarians, because obviously in Glasgow it's very much a free speaking town or city, and a lot of these places like Stonehouse, Larkhall, Hamilton, and are spillovers from Glasgow. So a lot of Glaswegians are in Lanarkshire, and there's a lot of crossover between Lanarkshire, Glasgow. Obviously, parts of Glasgow are parts of Lanarkshire, and this is what we're doing. There's a lot of good people out here. It's incredible how good the actual individuals are here. Nice bunch, but even the pubs are closing down here. So why are the pubs closing? Why is the nightclubs closing? Okay, so there's a change of things, or is it too much taxation? We already know we're getting overtaxed. We already know that people are being taxed to the hilt. And they're not being able to live the life. They're paying for other people to break into the country, whether some are asylum seekers or not. That's not necessarily what's going on. And also, people who have committed the most heinous crimes are not getting deported by the judiciary. So that's obviously coming from the powers that be. The powers that be do not want these people deported, regardless of what they do. So it'll be great. I can't wait to start going canvassing, find out actual individuals' opinions. I think that's going to be the most interesting thing. But we're just walking down into the town. I guess it's a small town. Both Stonehouse and Larkhall are increasing in the size. There's buildings, it's just things are getting stuck up, hit more and more houses, badly designed, lack of facilities, just increase the housing with no overall plan. Now, I'm not a great one for central planning, but you could have a wee bit more joined up thinking on it. But that's not going to be relative to the MP. Whereas Humza is always talking about Gaza, which is not his constituency, and obviously he's not got the remit, even as an MSP, to be talking about foreign matters, which Gaza is. It's not a reserved matter for Westminster. He never talks about Pollock. I've never heard him talk about his constituency once. And there's obviously major things that happen in Ireland as well. There's people being murdered, and this is very strange as well, because it's strange dynamics, because the Celtic supporters in Scotland seem to be on board with Islamists and actual fascists, while claiming to be anti-fascists, and the people in Ireland, the nationalists in Ireland, seem to be on board with Rangers supporters, even Ulster Unionists, and there seems to be a funny anti-globalist, shall we call it, politics that seem to be fermenting, which shall overturn the narrow sectarianism that has gone on for a long period of time into a Celtic brothership, and this could see like unionists and actual nationalists coming together. The the what was I going to say? There was somebody, I'm going to bring this up, and I'm going to bring up about Sinn Féin, that Irish people, actual Irish people, not Protestants or Unionists or anything like that, actual Irish people are in Dublin were complaining about Sinn Féin, and because the Sinn Féin are basically shills for the globalists now. They're just a wokey wefter party, just like the Scottish National Party, just like the Welsh Nationalist Party. They're all wokey wefters for the EU. And the bigger move towards the one world government, one world currency. So let me just, this is quite nice, pretty. So I don't know if you can see it. There's tons of villages and towns all over Scotland that look like this, and you walk into them, and they get the same sort of effect. They're really beautiful. Hey, buddy, can I ask you a question? Are you voting in the by-election?
I'm a Manchester lad.
Oh, you mate? Well, good.
Yeah,
You
Manchester lad in Scotland.
well done. You enjoying it?
Oh, I love Scotland.
Brilliant, mate, brilliant. Hello, sir. Do you mind if I ask you a quick question? You obviously know the by-election's coming up.
Yeah.
Have you had any thoughts on it, sir? Have you any thoughts on where you're...
I have already voted.
Oh, have you? And who did you vote? Do you mind if I ask?
Labour Party.
Ah, right, okay. Thanks, sir. Thank you. Thank you. So at least Sarwar's got one vote. Not sure he's been watching the Guerilla TV channel to see what's actually happening with Sarwar. So it's all beautiful wee cottages, well kept. This would be what was described as the working Presbyterians. This is the thing. Although there are, I've got friends here, friends who are Catholic here as well. So there are people who are Catholic in both Stonehouse, Larkhall as well. Some people are more bitter than others, which I'm not. Again, the postal votes has been proven to be a way of basically gerrymandering the system. Let me get back here. So, when you're actually walking and doing your YouTube channel, it's a bit like Charlie Veitch. It's always easier if you've got a cameraman. But again, it's quite quiet. It's strangely quiet. Hamilton was quite quiet, although the town centre's moved a wee bit. The town centre's moved from where I showed you down a wee bit to what was playing fields down there, and what was actually Hamilton Palace, which was an actual palace down in Hamilton. Very disappointing they didn't keep it. They seem to be very cavalier with pulling down beautiful architecture and putting up things that are decidedly mid. So, let's see if we can find. I thought there would be a wee bit more people out in the streets. Hello guys, can I ask, do you mind if I ask you a question? We're out here discussing what's happening with the by-election. Are you got any ideas what you might be thinking about voting?
Yes, but
Yeah.
keep that.
Right, that's me. That's good. Just trying to gauge the sort of, temperature of the room, shall we say. It's completely their right to tell me, no, I'll just keep it to myself. That's fine. It's none of your business. It is literally none of my business, but it is also beneficial if we can actually find out what's actually happening here. And I think we might have like the shy Tory, you might have the shy Remainer as well. So that's going to be quite interesting as well. The vote might be underestimated. Obviously, when you're putting in the groundwork, whether it be Labour or the SNP, who both will have ground teams here, and also knowledge of who's already voted or who may be amenable to voting, for them. The Reform do not have any sort of data here, and which also means that if people are going to en masse vote for Reform, it means, or a significant proportion, say a quarter of the voting, not the people who are eligible to vote, the people that do vote, if a quarter of them vote, it gives momentum, and political momentum starts to go. Political momentum will be taken away from Labour, maybe less so with the SNP. Maybe the SNP will still continue with the momentum, and obviously it's looking good for the Westminster polling from the SNP, although I don't really rate very many of the SNP MSPs or MPs. This could be just as it was for Labour at the last UK election, this could be a total turnaround. And the fact that Labour get totally pumped at the Westminster election as well as the Holyrood election, and all the seats that went to Labour are now flipped back to the SNP. Again, not really a change in policy. We've got one left-wing party flipping to another left-wing party, and once you strip away the nationalist versus, or the independent, I'm not going to say nationalist, independents versus unionist point of view, and 80 to 90% of the people, the policies have been voted on both by Labour and the SNP. You're not getting, as I said to you before, you're not getting a change of policy. Hello, sir. Do you mind if I ask you a question? Obviously, you know the by-election's coming up. Have you got any thoughts on what your thoughts on it?
I've never voted for years, mate.
Have you not?
No.
You think they're all the same?
It's just, listen.
What would change your mind to vote?
I don't know. I think there's a lot of things. I just think politicians are all, they tell you what they're going to do, and
they don't do it?
No.
If you got somebody that did do it, like a Donald Trump sort of, no, I'm not saying Donald Trump as an individual, if somebody that actually did do what they were saying, would that change your mind?
Probably would. I was a Labour man. I followed my grandfather. I was a Labour man through and through for years. And
Yeah.
I just stopped.
Aye.
It got beyond a joke,
And it's worse now, isn't it, for Labour? Terrible.
This guy that's down south, I can't remember.
Stammer?
No, he was on I'm a Celebrity. Can't mind his name.
Aye, I know. Aye, George Galloway?
No, him at staying all the shouting about all these people coming in and voting and all that, to get rid of them all. Can't mind his name. He's an older guy.
Right.
I don't know where he'll. He won a
are you talking about the guy from? Are you talking about the guy who was in Reform?
Aye.
And I know you're. The Reform guy. Aye. You fancy him?
I don't fancy him. Listen, it would take a hell of a lot for me to get out of the house.
Get motivated.
Aye.
But if he was potentially,
Aye, probably, aye.
interesting.
I just feel as if I've seen it on. I'm 65.
Aye,
There's
Get
nothing
it.
going to change my mind now unless things start.
radically changing.
I mean, I'll say one thing about Trump. When he says he's got to do something,
He does it.
Does it. You know what I mean?
Which is different from all the politicians that we've had.
And I'm not saying that what he does is right,
Uh-huh.
but at least when he keeps a promise,
Uh-huh. He does it.
He does it.
Uh-huh.
You know, here it's like.
Ten a
I
penny.
can't believe how Labour's operating now. You
Uh-huh.
know, so.
Terrible.
Aye, it is. It is.
What's your name? I'm Davy.
I'm done.
Duncan, nice to meet you.
What is it you're doing?
I do political broadcasts. I do. If you want to look at me, I'm in the Guerilla, Guerilla TV channel, and I hold all the politicians to account. If you actually watch me, you'll have a great time laughing.
As long as you've not got that stand up taking a picture.
No, don't worry, you're off
I
it.
feel about it.
No, that's good. Thanks very much, Duncan. As I said, good people, man. I hope you caught that. The mic was pointed at me, so I'm not quite sure if you got all of that. But yeah, very interesting. Andy's correct. Andy's correct. Let me just show you some of Larkhall. So again, another town that's enlarging itself, it's increasing its population, and I'm just laughing because they wouldn't let Subway have a green sign here. What I was going to say, so the wee eccentricities, but this is increasing, and obviously facilities need to be improved and done better. They've got families here. They need to have outlets for them for doing something. And usually the pub, you would go down the pub and they're all closing. One pub left, well, maybe one the bowling club in Stonehouse. Even that, I heard that pub was quite quiet as well, the one I was in. So I thought it would be busier. But you can see what even Hamilton and Stonehouse, and it's so quiet. This used to be a bustling high street. People sit in, get their Uber Eats, and just watch the big plasma TV, and not interacting, not being able to go out, not seeing other people. And the high streets got not a soul on it, which obviously has a knock-on effect for the businesses, and then the knock-on effect from the businesses, it knocks on for the tax receipts from the rates. It's the greenest sign I've seen in Larkhall. So maybe Labour might do better here than they anticipated, but I think they were maybe Paul Hutchins was downplaying what Sarwar will get in the votes, but I don't think so. I think a lot of people, I can't believe that people are still voting for Labour after them being in power and being so thoroughly reprehensible in the policies, the lies that they've brought in from the manifesto, that people are still going to vote Labour. I mean, it's quite incredible. The loyalty there as well, which was getting discussed from generation to generation, and that they can't actually get up and the people can't get up and vote, and that nothing changes. Well, nothing changes because all the main parties are shills for the globalists. The globalist agenda rules, and it doesn't matter about the individual. It doesn't matter about the individual. It matters about what the globalists want and what their agenda is. What your agenda and how it's going to work out for you isn't relative. So that's got the knock-on effect into domestic politics, and that's why Labour has lied about its manifesto, and they're not implementing any of the manifesto that they said they would. I've not seen a pub in this place. Struthers, oh there's Struthers. Sushi. Right. Again, very quiet.